Hi guys, Togre here with a new video. In this video, we're going to talk about Blizzard and how they dropped the ball on Classic on multitude of levels. And now I'm making this video as a very entitled person. And a lot of people are going to say, but you have no rights to be like that. You have no rights to feel like that. It is not your game. You're not the dev. You're not a shareholder, blah, blah, blah. The truth is that that's true. Like, I'm just a customer, and if I'm not getting what I want, there is the door. You can basically do whatever you want. You have no rights to like demand something, right? I am a paying customer, but like if you're a paying customer, you cannot ask everything. If the product is X and you want Y, if Y is not provided, then there is the door. But I'm going to say that Blizzard drops the ball immensely by giving such a gap towards Classic Plus. I think with the end of SOD, and I think SOD, the issue is a bit bigger than that. I think now that SOD is like ended and has been ended, a lot of people are like realizing that SOD was actually good, or at least they were like 1 foot at the door of actually being great. But I think there's a lot of things that were a bit too much, which made that a lot of people are like not thinking that it's a Classic Plus, or they decide like, okay, this is like just a test run, it's more of a retail thing, the rune system, the MC disappointment and such. A lot of people like considering the bad things about SOD to relative like how can I say, to think about and talk about SOD. And now that it is gone, people are like talking it very positively. But the truth is that giving such a gap, because it ended, when did it end? Truthfully, it ended like 4 months ago. When did the SOD like servers really die? I don't remember too much, but they died after Scarlet, the Scarlet raid. Truthfully, like having that gap, like the thinking or brainstorming or producing development whatever on Classic Plus, the gap is not good, because the high point of a Classic Plus demand is now really set. People really want a Classic Plus. They are not like thinking about a Classic Plus, they really want it. And now that it is not available, people are like turning into like looking for replacements, and the replacements are like private servers. And this reminds me of 2017, 2016, even like 2018, where the Classic demand was the highest, and at the end they had to like shut down Starius and whatnot. I still think like the private service scene kind of contributed towards the actual happening of Classic, but truthfully, it needs to happen now. You can't wait now for 2 years or 1 year or just like even 6 months to have a Classic Plus when that demand is that high. So what is the problem? Well, the problem is now on hindsight, it feels like they didn't work fast enough or prepared enough to have a Classic Plus ready to go once SOD is gone. And that is my biggest gripe with like SOD ending and not having Classic Plus ready. It means that truthfully they didn't really work on Classic Plus. They were waiting, and they were like, maybe that's on the pipeline. We're going to brainstorm a bit, and once we hit a lowest point for Classic, which seems to be right now, with Miss Pandaria eventually losing steam, it will just happen. That's just bound to happen. It will lose steam. Even if it's good, even if it's bad, it will lose steam. And anniversary being how it is, so it's very stale and it will only go lower and lower. Not having Classic Plus ready to launch before the end of the year, that's a big mistake. It gives like first of all power to private servers, and maybe they want to give the power to private servers to be copying a bit better, because again, private servers are going to do their work, and if it's good, they're going to copy it. Although I'm going to say that I'm not really convinced 100% they're going to copy anything from private servers, because realistically, Turtle WoW already existed since I don't know when, and they could have copied the dungeons from Turtle WoW. They could have done many things that Turtle WoW did, and they didn't really do it. The only thing that they copied is from Ascension, which is the rune system, which you can compare it with the enchantments that you put on the gear. That is going to then improve the class or improve the damage, or like put like a legendary effect, whatnot, and change the class itself, like on Ascension. That is like literally the same system. So I'm not really convinced if they are like really looking at private servers when they are like really looking for ideas or looking for implementation and whatnot, because maybe they are like too proud to actually take ideas from them. I cannot believe they like are like not aware of private servers and the popularity of private servers, because that would be a bit disastrous in my opinion if it's at that point. But truthfully, for me, it's not being available right now is like a big mistake. Again, I talk like an entitled person, right? I want to play Classic Plus right now. Like, if Classic Plus was releasing, I think it would kill every servers. Like, I would even say that it would be like getting the biggest peak on Twitch and on YouTube as well, but also on the player base. We're going to get hit by like big server queues. That's how I see it right now. If you release right now Classic Plus and you call it, because don't call it Season of Discovery, call it Classic Plus. If you'd say that your server or your version of World of Warcraft is called Classic Plus, and then the name of the Classic Plus version, I don't know, like for example, Turtle WoW has Mysteries of Azeroth, it could be anything. It will have the biggest boom of like recent World of Warcraft. I would even say it will overtake anything retail. And retail, what is overtaking like the hype around retail currently is, for example, the housing, which I have no interest in. But like currently people are like looking forward to housing, which I don't really understand. I feel like housing is like Sims, but less. But that's, again, my opinion. But truthfully, if they did that, it would break the internet. IMO. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people from retail will jump to Classic Plus just to see how Classic Plus is, because it is called Classic Plus. Everyone is talking about Classic Plus this, Classic Plus that. It will be this, it will be that. A lot of the curiosity behind Classic Plus is that we don't know anything about Classic Plus from Blizzard. We only know and speculate and imagine from Turtle WoW, from Ascension, from Project Epoch, but we have no real like idea of what a Classic Plus will be from Blizzard. So everyone from retail will jump into Classic Plus. Everyone from Classic will jump to Classic Plus, and everyone from a private server scene will see and jump onto a Classic Plus, except if they don't have any monetary possibilities to go on the Classic Plus. That's another debate. But there is like such a gap, such a open demand, such a dare I even say, like, it's not even hiding itself. They want Classic Plus. Everyone wants to see what is going to be the Classic Plus. And it feels like right now Blizzard is personally letting me down, because I feel like they should know better. Like, they are such a big company. They don't like capitalize on something very, very wanted. And I think they take it way too big. They could just start Classic Plus by being like small changes, like a dungeon extension, for example, like how like Turtle WoW has for its different dungeons, having like full-on raids. They have so many things from SOD that they could just implement it, which I find great ideas. For example, the coin runs. I think like having coins being available so you could get better gear, like for example 0.5 gear, so you have guaranteed pieces that you can buy. That's something like great, because you would have like a world tour where people are like running dungeons every day basically to get those coins, or like the raids changes that they did for BWL, for I guess MC, although I think MC is like a big disappointment, but that's my like take. They could take the changes they did for AQ, the changes they did for like even ZG, like the multiple changes that they have done, they can already implement it. You don't need to do like phase per phase, like level 20, level 40, level 30, level 50. Just go directly from 1 to 60 and implement every 2 months or every 3 months like something new. It doesn't need to be like one big thing dropped on your head and that's it. That is your Classic Plus and you deal with it. No, it should be like a continuous change, not a seasonal thing, but like a persistent server that will grow into a bigger thing, which has horizontal progression, not only vertical, because if it's only vertical, at one point it will stop. Yeah, it's not possible to be keeping up with like joining a server that is like constantly progressing, because then it becomes just retail. But if it is horizontal, it means that a lot of the people that are not joining at the start could always join 2 months or 3 months in and not feel like they're behind that much. That's how I see. Again, Classic Plus is different for everyone, but I feel like they don't need to be gigantic changes directly from the get-go. Just get some talent changes, some class changes, some leveling changes, some zones here and there with like different assets that they have from different versions of the game, some questing hubs. It can also be like just simple things like adding quests that are present in TBC and RAF onto the like existing zones. That's like small changes that are like not drastically changing, but it will smoothen out the leveling process. Like all those things, when I'm talking about Classic Plus, I get super excited about, but also kind of mad because it feels like, how come Blizzard don't really think that far ahead right now? Like it feels like they're like working too much or too long about something that is already like established. And if I was Blizzard, I would just literally steal every asset from Turtle WoW. Like everything that they have built, that's something that they can probably like data mining out, and they can just like literally take it and they have nothing else to say because it's their assets. It's Blizzard, it's Warcraft, so they cannot really like. I don't see Turtle WoW suing Blizzard, for example, and I guess it is slimy from me to say that because again, like you're taking work from someone else, but at the end, it is the IP of Blizzard, so it's kind of shut up and eat it kind of thing. But if I was like Blizzard and I know like I can get money from it and I can get like a huge pop, a huge viewership, I would just take the best out of everything and make my own thing to start with. And you don't need to like say, like I said, it doesn't need to be like a big thing directly from the start. It could be like something that it's built with months, weeks, years. Like it should again, if it's again something seasonal, I'm probably not going to be that excited because it's something with an end. I don't want to have an end. Like my biggest issue with Classic Plus from Blizzard is that I'm afraid that there will be an end in how they take a server. So for me, Classic Plus should be literally World of Warcraft version 2. That's how I see Classic Plus. If you want to have progression from retail, here is retail with Midnight, which by itself is also probably going to be good. But if you want to have progression from Classic, which is new, fresh, with new expansions or whatever you want to call it, here is Classic Plus, title of the Classic Plus version. But call it Classic Plus, and I guarantee it breaks the internet because everyone is calling it Classic Plus. Don't call it Season of Discovery, Season of whatever, because that is again like trying to like say, it's Classic Plus, but also not. We're not calling it Classic Plus, so don't assume it's Classic Plus. No, it should be Classic Plus. This is the game. This is what you can expect. And we are going to do changes with voting system if you want to. Here are the contents that are like ready for phase 2, phase 3, for example. We're working on phase 4. What would you like to see on phase 4? Something like that. It doesn't need to be like the from start to finish, because if it's start or finish, it means that there is an end. And for me, I'm already like besides that. Like I really need Classic Plus to be like an entity that keeps on growing and keeps on getting better, or maybe even worse. Sometimes a game can become worse over time, but that can be changed if it's continuous changes, right? But make it something that can last, because then you can really like look forward to it to be better, or it to be improved, or like again, I think also once you have your Classic Plus, you could have your one server or two servers, or depends on how many servers you want to have up, with progression, and then every year you get like a new fresh server where that fresh server start from scratch. I don't know. It's very tough because classic, everyone likes a fresh feeling of a server, and I don't know if it's really relevant for a classic plus to have like such a fresh thing. And I think that's probably the difficult part about fresh, is that difficult part about classic is that fresh is such a thing. Like it is just the biggest thing you have. Like every single fresh has the most players possible, and then it drastically goes lower and lower. That's like a thing. So I don't know how it can be interacting with Classic Plus, because you will have one fresh, but do you need to have multiple freshes? That's like a debate that you can have. But again, it goes back to it's seasonal, and don't want it to be seasonal. Personally, I don't really care if it's fresh or not. If the content keeps on getting fresher and fresher and fresher every 3 months, every 6 months, if you can have like new content every 3 or 6 months, like I think every 3 months is like the sweet spot, and like I would say every 1.5 week month you get like something like special, or special like something like how Blizzard does with like retail, where every 1.5 or 3 months you have like your point 0.5 patch, and then you have like a full on patch, full on new season, or new raid tier every 6 months. I think that's the sweet spot. Um, we'll have to see. But personally, I want Classic Plus. I think they dropped the ball immensely by not having it right now already. It just gives people the opportunity to go to private servers, which I will do it as well, because I want my Classic Plus fix. Blizzard cannot give it to me, so there is like no other way to go besides private servers. And yeah, it's not like I am like a super private server fan, but I don't mind playing on private servers because I already did it when I was young as well. Like I started private servers with arena tournaments, like AT from Wrath of the Lich King. That's literally what I started, and then I played also Nostarius, Lights Hope. I even played like Elysium. I think private servers are like fantastic. But if Blizzard can do it, I prefer playing on a Blizzard server. But like they don't do it. I don't know why they're not doing it. Like for me, it's like leaving money on the table. Don't wait on anniversary to finish like vanilla. Don't wait it for it being TBC, because I'm going to be fair. If TBC is out and Classic Plus is out at the same time, or 2 months after TBC being out, guess what? TBC servers are going to die. Like it's really stupid. Like I think people are not realizing it doesn't matter when you put Classic Plus. I think it will be like killing any server from Classic. I personally would, again, hot take. I prefer a TBC Plus or a RAF Plus than a Classic Plus, because it's easier to implement. I think you have way more things that you can change organically, while Classic Plus, it can go very fast to, like towards retail, because it just doesn't need too many things to become retail at that point, because the gameplay is already very good. Just needs like a lot of quality of life. But if you do put too much quality of life, it becomes like a classic with like abilities from Mob, Walls of Draenor, Cataclysm. Like at what point do you really stop? So I think TBC Plus, RAF Plus is easier because you don't need to change too many things from the designs of classes, for example. But yeah, that's like a hot take. Again, I want Classic Plus because I think that's the closest thing I will have from a plus thing. And man, I'm going to repeat myself. I think a lot of like, probably if you did a drinking game, you would be like drunk. I am very entitled, but goddamn, Blizzard really is like, again, I'm going to say stupid because that's how I feel. It's stupid that Classic Plus is not out or at least announced. Like, it has not been announced. They say we're going to work, we have ideas from a season of discovery, blah blah, but they haven't really named Classic Plus. They haven't really called it Classic Plus. They have actually never said that they were 100% doing Classic Plus, by the way. That's a huge mistake. I think if they just announced Classic Plus coming soon, hype. But they're not doing it. So maybe at Gamescom, but Gamescom will be midnight, so I don't know if how much time they're going to allocate towards Classic. We'll see. But like not having any teasers, like Classic Plus coming soon, teaser like trailer from like one of the biggest trailer making like guys. I don't know how he's called, but he does like all the classic things. Imagine like a trailer from him about Classic Plus, where you have like Hunter being doing melee, for example. Like I'm not really a fan of melee Hunter, but that's beside the point. Or like a Boomkin actually doing more than 5 casts of Starfire. Or like I don't know, enhancement shamans being dual wields, for example. Like imagine. But anyways, that's just my opinion. People will be mad about it. People will be agreeing with me. I think like not having Classic Plus before 2026 is like dumb. I think like if they haven't seen the opportunity between SOD beginning, ending, and the huge resurgence on the private server scene, then I don't know why they're like literally blind doing like this. And at that point, like I am not like Blizzard. I don't get any money from Blizzard. Like it's not my company. My father is not working there. My brothers are not working there. My family is not working there. My friends are not working there, so I got like nothing of gains except my own joy, and they do whatever they want. But I think like not having Classic Plus right now is dumb.